So welcome back to JB Reviews. I wanted to show you guys this Wrangler. What do you guys think about these tires and wheels on this blue? I really like the color on this Wrangler. What color is this? This is called, if you can see, Ocean Blue Metallic Clear Coat. And has a nice little flakes inside the color. But I really like these wheels and tires on this color. Not necessarily the wheel design, but it's sporting some, I think these are Nitto Terra grapplers. They look like it. It looks like a, what size tire? This is a 35 by 12 and a half. 20-inch wheels. I'm not a big fan of 20s on a Wrangler, but it doesn't look bad. I'd probably go for like an 18 maybe. But that's not why you're here today. What you're really here to see is this bad boy here. I found the 2020 Jeep Gladiator, and man, this thing, it looks so good. Now, I did a review on a Rubicon, and again, this is gonna be an Overland, and I think this one is about 10 grand less. Now, I'm just guessing because I saw the same truck at another dealership, and the window sticker was like 10 grand less than the one I showed you guys about a week or two ago. But let's go ahead and get started. So inside this Overland, you don't see much of a difference in terms of the interior quality compared to the Rubicon. I think most of the things that you see are really on the outside. You know, for example, like you don't have a lift on this truck. You don't have the more aggressive tires. I would say this is more like the Grand Tour, you know, than the Rubicon is. Now, I will say, price on this one is not bad either. It's still high, but it's way better than that Rubicon I tested. So as I mentioned, this is a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Overland 4-wheel drive. Base price comes in at $40,395. Now you do have a billet silver metallic clear coat, and you have that black interior. That 3.6 liter engine is the only engine available, and it will be standard. Now that 8-speed automatic transmission is optional. And here are some of their standard features. I would like to point out this does have a 373. I believe that the Rubicon has a 410, has those Dana axles, and just a lot of things that still come standard for off-road use too, like your skid plates and locking differentials, all that good stuff too. And then just below there you do have your optional equipment. So leather trim seats was an option. It's $14.95. I gotta tell you, if you really don't have to have leather, you could save $1,500. I mean, you do get a leather shift knob, you know, you do get a leather wrap brake handle, all that good stuff, but for the most part, it's $1,500. And you do have the premium wrap instrument panel too, which is going to be up top there too. Now, moving on down, you have that trailer tow package. I definitely would recommend this, even if you don't plan on towing. I mean, this is a pickup truck, and this has very impressive tow numbers too, so I strongly recommend you get that trailer tow package. It's basically going to give you that class 4 receiving hitch, trailer hitch zoom on the camera, and it's going to have a heavy duty engine cooling. So even if you don't plan on towing, you just get that heavy duty engine cooling and a 240 amp alternator. Cold weather group is going to give you those heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and it's going to give you that remote start, which is also another good package to consider. If you watch my channel for any time, you know I'm a huge fan of LED lighting, so I would strongly recommend this. I mean, you just get a bunch of LEDs. It's going to use less energy overall compared to like halogen or incandescent bulbs. And of course, this has the 8.4-inch radio, and that was $15.95. Now that's going to give you the navigation, Alpine premium sound system, and then all the way up top, I mean, I could just read all this to you, but man, there's just so many options. I mean, look at, cargo management, 8-speed transmission, $2,000. That's a big one. And just track lock, the anti-spin rear differential, proximity key, black freedom top, 3-piece hardtop. I'll show it to you on the outside. And it does have this panel storage also. It looks like you have some slots here. You can put your roof pieces in there too. So all in all, $14.95 for destination, $54,385. I would definitely tell you that this is a better price point than the Rubicon. I would probably consider this one over the Rubicon because if you're like me, I never keep anything stock. I always modify my car somehow, some way. And to save the extra cash and just kind of do my own thing, put my own wheels and tires, put my own lift on, I would probably rather go in that direction versus paying for all that up front. Because you're only going to get a 2-inch lift on this thing from the factory. I mean, that's probably as high as it will go. It does come with the Fox shocks, so keep that in mind. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time inside the interior. I did do a full review on the Rubicon, and for the most part, it does look to be the same. I'll just kind of quickly go over a few things here. I mean, as I mentioned on my last video, you have your air vents in the back. You have your power windows right here on the side. Here's how far they go down. They go all the way down into the door. And just below your windows, you have this power outlet, 115 volt, 400 watts, 2 cup holders, and your center armrest, you have 2 more. For the most part, this is a very small pickup truck. I said that in the past video I did too. I do know that you can take off this entire roof, and these 2 panels up front can come off too. I'll show you how to take those off in a second. You do have a speaker up top here, and of course you don't have any on the doors because the doors do come off. So let's go ahead and take a look on the outside. One thing I want to point out is when you do get out of the truck, I probably would forego these running boards. I feel like these, I mean, maybe because I have long legs, I feel like it's kind of hard to get out of the truck. I almost rather just go for the ground as opposed to just trying to step on these running boards too. You do have storage in the side pocket here. Now they do give you like a place to put your hand under here, so if you want to remove these doors, it kind of makes it easier to carry it. And again, I mentioned this in my last video, you have these aluminum style door handles that look really good with this black. There's a lot of black interior. They do give you your seat anchors on the bottom of the seat, and if you want to lower this seat down, you can do so by this. You have more seat anchors for your child seat, a ton of storage. I didn't notice this, but they give you a nice little light on the side there for your storage back behind the seat. And you have more storage below the seat here. You can lock this storage area. This does go all the way across too. I'm not going to show it to you because I have a bunch of stuff on that side, but just take me for my word there. I would love to see one of these with the roof off in person. I mean, as you can see the roll cage inside the interior. So cool that they do a lot of these neat features. If you're in the market for a pickup truck and you kind of want something that's a convertible, man, here you go. Jeep did a really good job designing this truck, and this is a trail rated model also. And I wish this was white so you can kind of see a little bit better contrast, but this does have a black roof on it. Take a look at this. I like the two-tone. I probably would opt for the black top versus the color match one. I think it looks a little bit more upscale for some reason. I don't know why. And you still have your small glass too in the back too. I mean, overall, I mean, I really think this is the most, I mean, I don't know, this is just a really nice pickup truck. I like how they painted the exhaust black to kind of offset it a little bit too. So these are the tires you're going to get on an Overland. Now you're not going to get any, you know, off-road tires, but they do give you a 255/70 18. I love the style of these wheels. You get like a silver accent around it with like a gunmetal color for the face of the wheel. And as I mentioned, you're going to get your stock shocks too. I can tell it definitely sits lower than the Rubicon. But take a look at the front end too. I mean, everything does flow really nicely too with the interior. You don't get any color match hooks up front, but all your lighting, because of that one package, you get all updated LEDs on the front end, everything. And here's another side view. Yeah, if you plan on going off-road, you're going to definitely need a lift. Look at that. I mean, I know that this grass is probably about 6 or 7 inches tall, but it's definitely lower to the ground than that Rubicon was. says Jeep Performance LEDs. But because you have the black roof, the black mirrors, everything flows really well. I don't really like these running boards. I gotta admit to you, I don't really like them. I feel like they take away from the design of this Gladiator. I probably would want something a little bit more aggressive. I mean, this would be good for most people, but for me, I don't like them. Now, as you saw, you do have blind spot monitoring on this truck, and typically your sensor will be built into the side of the tail light. They do have a soft open tailgate. You can get this from the factory with a spray and bed liner, but as you see, this one will come without, you know, it being sprayed as a standard feature. And here's the power outlet that you opted for on the window sticker. You do have your LED lights in the back. And then that's the area code where the truck was built at. A lot of people don't know this, but the reason why they put the high mount stoplight on the back of the tailgate is because the roof is removable in this Jeep Gladiator. And of course you have your standard black hooks in the rear. I believe this is riding on a 4-link rear suspension. Take a look at that little axle in the rear. Now, if you want to take the roof off, all you would have to do is pull this lever down, and you have 3 more of these levers that you would have to turn. There's one furthest back, you push it this way, and then this way you pull it towards you, and then you can see the roof kind of lift off the top there. It's very easy to do. Let me see how heavy this roof is. So this roof probably only weighs probably about 5 pounds. It's probably not even that heavy, honestly. And that's pretty much all you would have there. So just taking you a look on the top, you get a pretty good, nice panoramic view with that top off. And keep in mind, you can remove the back one too. It's going to take some tools in order to do so. And as you know, that one also comes off too. All you have to do is just, again, pull the handle up top here, and then you have to push these 3 tabs to the side, and that's it. And then this is what the top will look like on the ground. So if you ride the top off, you could tell that it is off. And you basically have like a really large sunroof in the front there. One thing I would like to point out about the roof also is they do give you some rain gutter. Just kind of let the water drip past the door too. And granted, it would drop down here. If you want to turn that cargo power on, you would have to hit this button. And just to real quickly, I have not locked this back in yet, so all you have to do is just lock these back in like so. Just remember you have 3 on each side, and let's do the same on this side. I already did this one back here. So here's your 8.4 display. As you can see, you have your media controls to control your radio. Of course, you have XM radio. As I mentioned too, you will have high definition. You can see the navigation on the same screen. And with climate, if you would like to turn the max AC on, this is going to drop the temperatures all the way down, turn the fan all the way up. If you want to sync the AC or sync both sides together, you can do so by clicking the sync button, and this is going to be your fan speed down below there. Now if you hit controls, you can either hit controls within the climate, or you can hit it at the bottom. You can actually configure this panel down here, like kind of like your Apple phone if you have Apple. But if you hit your control settings, you have your heated seats, steering wheel on your driver's side, of course, backup camera. You can actually zoom into that to your tongue if you're towing a trailer. But look at the resolution on this screen. I mean, it's a nice Wrangler behind us too. Really good resolution on this screen. And of course, if you need to adjust where your air is going, you can do so in the middle there. You have apps also. If you have travel link to see fuel prices, weather. This actually does have a Doppler radar system too to show you where there's any inclement weather. I like seeing this on my truck that I have. And of course, if you like sports, you can look at your sports. You can set favorites also. Navigation is pretty straightforward. You can actually search a address if you like to. Let's just see if we can do that actually. So you can actually search the address without having to go through, you know, this entire map situation here. Normally you have to put in the address first, spell the city, all that crap. You don't have to do all that. You can just do it right at the top there. I like that they did that. You can set your home. You have nav settings. Just real quickly, here are some of the things that you can set. You can actually scroll here, or you can just use the arrow on the right side. I prefer to scroll like this. Phone, if you have a phone, you can actually hook up your phone. It's pretty easy to do. And of course, this whole system is so easy to configure. So many things that you can do. You can change the background of the screen. It's just such a good system. I think FCA has the best infotainment system in the business. And I'm not saying that to be biased. I really do think that. I mean, I'm a huge Toyota fan, and I love Toyota. They're the worst. I mean, I think their system is probably the suckiest of them all. And I say that with, you know, with no disrespect to Toyota. I actually, again, I'm a huge fan. But you do have your USBs here. You have a Type A and a Type C auxiliary. All your power windows. If you would like to lock your windows, you can do so. Your auxiliaries are right below here, and you have a nice little storage that you probably can't put anything more than just a chapstick thing right here. Cup holders just below. You do have your gear shifter. I love the fact that they put that little Gladiator on here too. If you want to do manual mode, you can do it here. Now, I will tell you, there's no paddle shifters. I'm a huge fan of having paddle shifters. You know, not necessarily to drive a car like a race car, but I like to downshift sometimes when I'm coming up to a stoplight. They do give you speakers on each side. Decent sized glove box. Now your center storage, it does not slide. I thought it did for some reason, but it does not. You have storage up top, and then you have storage below, and you actually can lock this too right here. But again, this is really a very versatile pickup truck. For the fact that you can remove the roof, you can go off-road with it with no problems for the most part. You can lower the windshield. There's just such a lot of cool things. Now you have a light inside of this center storage right there, and you have a second USB. But that's really it. I mean, for the most part, I mean, what you see is what you get. I mean, I think that for the price point of this, it does seem kind of high. But I strongly think that if you want something different, if you're tired of buying a Toyota Tacoma, I mean, most guys who buy Tacomas, they're diehard Tacoma fans. Maybe you want to switch away from Toyota for a little bit and come over to Jeep, or maybe you just want something a little different. If you had a Wrangler, maybe you want to jump over to a Gladiator. So again, with the towing numbers, with just the capability of this pickup truck, and just the fact that this is something different, I think that there's a lot of good opportunity to buy one of these. Now, I will say, I'm not trying to sell anyone on leasing. If you are in the market for one of these, I would strongly recommend that you take a look at leasing, especially for Chrysler Capital, because that's who I work for. So keep that in mind. One last thing I want to show you guys. I love when a manufacturer gives you buttons outside of your screen, because I normally drive with my screen off, and I love the fact that you can still control stuff outside of the screen. If you want to control your volume, everything still pops up on there. If you want to turn that annoying stop-start system off, you can do that right here. And of course, you have traction control, parking sensors, you can turn those off. And I believe this is downhill assist, maybe like a speed set. Actually, yes, that is what it is, because you have to set it with your full drive system. Love the fact that they give you a gear shifter for your full drive system too. They do give you a direct current 12 volt, and that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, there's not a lot to this thing. Telescoping steering wheel. You probably going to need this in this small SUV. I need this pushed all the way back in. I mean, my seat is all the way back in. I'm just at the point where I'm pretty I'm not comfortable, you know, for the fact that how I'm sitting. I would need my seat to maybe go back maybe 2 or 3 more inches, because my legs, as you can see, this is not a very large pickup. I've said this in my last video. I would say this is almost considered a compact. So let's go ahead and take a look on the outside. I'm gonna show you guys the numbers on this truck, and And then what I'll do is I'm gonna show you guys the payload of this vehicle too. Let's get started. So if you are in the market for a Gladiator, you might want to know these numbers if you plan on adding any aftermarket features to it. Now this is going to be your gross axle weight rating for the front and rear. Your front's going to have a 3,100 pound gross axle. Now your rear is going to have a 3,750 pound axle rating too. And this truck, now if you remember, I showed you guys the Rubicon. It had a 6,250 pound gross vehicle weight rating. This one has a 5,800 pound gross vehicle weight rating. So that's going to hurt your payload capacity. Now it's not by much, it's only by 100 pounds, but your total payload capacity is going to be 1,045 pounds. It's, again, if you're looking to tow with something like this, you probably want to really, do some research and really understand the towing numbers for these vehicles, because you don't want to go over your payload or your towing capacity, with something like this, because of course, if it gets windy or if you're going up a hill, it can get really squirrely. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.